Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another Thriftcast episode. If you're new here, welcome. I'm your host, Lori. So whenever I manage to get a Thriftcast video out, I'm very excited. I cover a few topics in my Thriftcast videos. We do a flip of the week, a flop of the week. I give you a tip of the week. We have a Q&A section. Sometimes I do feedback and comments. Then at the end, I share a little bit about what's new in my life. Today's Thriftcast was supposed to be co-hosted by my dear friend, Heidi. We did a Zoom chat. Unfortunately, a good portion of our chat was lost because I had to film it in a couple segments and I didn't save one of the segments, or two of the segments actually. So I have about 15 minutes of footage with Heidi. Heidi gives some really good information about ThredUp and talks about the breakdown of her business, Poshmark versus eBay, men's versus women's, what sells for her. Let's jump right in. We're going to go back in time, chat a little bit with Heidi, and then we're going to come back for the Q&A and the tip of the week and my life update. Be sure to like this video if you're having a good time and subscribe if you want to see more from me. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Thriftcast. This is episode 4. Time flies when you're having fun. I've been really enjoying my Thriftcast, but one of the things that I've really wanted was to have a co-host. I have my lovely co-host here today. This is my friend Heidi from Restyle Secrets. Heidi and I first met, we were just talking briefly before we pressed record. We were trying to remember where we first met. I think we met through my original podcast, which was Thrifter's Villa, that I co-hosted with my friend Daniela, who now co-hosts with our friend Jen. I believe that Daniela had you on the show, and that
She did. We talked about shipping for an hour and a half.
Oh, we have 40 minutes, but we can definitely no, lots of time.
You just go back and listen to that one first.
Okay. But I remember listening to that. I feel like Heidi, once you hear her talk more, you're going to realize that she was made for an audio something. Radio. She has this sexy Demi Moore voice, and I could listen to her talk all day because she's also one of the smartest people I know. And she is everything on eBay that I aspire to be and am not. So I thought it would be fun to have her.
Well, I have an offer.
Oh, you do? What's your offer and what is it on?
It's $14 for some Nike Jordan Jumpman U of M shorts.
Oh, what do you have them listed at?
I think $19.99.
That's a good offer.
I think I got them for 97 cents at the bins. So
wonderful.
I'm probably going to say yes.
Yes, we love that. I need to say yes more often. And I would love for you to share what you got today in your ThredUp men's box later on in the show. I think what we're going to do is go through the format of the show, and I'm probably going to be a little scattered since I've never done it this way before.
I'm throwing you off your game, aren't I?
No, you're going to enhance my game, and I'm very excited about that. One of the other things I love about Heidi is that she always throws curveball questions at me. I often read her questions because they usually challenge me in a great way. And they're usually questions that I haven't heard before. And she's also really great at hypothetical questions, which is fun. I want you to introduce yourself a little bit.
I'm Heidi. I've been reselling on eBay and Poshmark was 5 years last November. I started about a year and a half after I retired, more like 6 months after I retired, but I just pretended I was doing it. I had like one little box of stuff, and I wanted to have a reason to, to get out of my jammies. Mm-hmm. And that got boring. So I just sort of plunged into it, and it's grown over time. And my first 4 months of this year are the best sales that I've ever had in my career. So
really, what do you attribute that to?
I even like Poshmark now since I got the bot.
I know the bot has been life-changing, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah, you should see my graph. It's like nothing, and then
wow.
Yes, yeah.
I think you shared that on Instagram. Did you not?
I did. I said, can you guess what I did on February 1st, which is where it goes from like $25 to $600, and now it's $1,100. So,
and that's on Poshmark alone.
Yeah.
Wow. So you use Posher VA?
I do.
Yes, we love Posher VA.
And I had to apologize to like 12 people for waiting so long.
Well, we try to do the right thing. And for so long, we were told that automation was the wrong thing.
I found out that everyone was using a bot but me, I just kept typing it. It was a live on YouTube, and I just kept typing, what? And Laura Von V was the only one who looked in the camera and responded to me. And she said, yeah, I know, Heidi, I get it.
Yes, I love Laura.
But 3 years later, I got over my.
It took 3 years from that time.
Get so sidetracked.
Welcome to the show, Heidi. I'm so happy that you're here. eBay is your first love.
Yes. I started Poshmark like 6 months later, and I probably went all in and then gave up, and went all in and then gave up 3 or 4 times. One of my daughters would be like, no, not again. It was like a bad romance. And, the guy you just can't give up, but he's just never takes you out to dinner and never chips in on the groceries. And
because he's easy to hang out with.
Because for the effort I put into Poshmark, I couldn't get anything out of it. Compared to an equivalent effort into eBay, I could get 10 times as much out of it. And so it made no sense to me. And that's why I always told my friends who were killing it on Poshmark, I would just be like, you would be so rich if you did that on eBay, because it's exponential. But with Posh VA, I'm about probably a third of my revenue is now Poshmark.
Wow.
Instead of 5%.
That's really impressive.
Yeah. So
really impressive.
It's very part-time. I do what I want, and I schedule listings ahead on both platforms so that if I feel like taking a day off, I don't have any, damage. So
Life of an organized person. I love it.
Yeah, sorry.
I love it. No, there's hope. There's hope for me one day.
Though, so no imagination. But
I think you're very creative. You're a very creative writer. And Heidi is back on YouTube. She just shared with me. She made her debut a couple of years ago.
2.5, yeah. Made a bunch
of time off.
I made like 12 videos and then just stopped. I never even really decided to stop. I think it interfered with my process.
So you've incorporated back in, and you're doing 2 videos a week, 1 video?
I'm doing 2 a week. Tuesdays and Saturdays is what I shoot for, and I've made it every time. So
that is impressive. And people can find you at Restyle Secrets.
Restyle Secrets, 2 words. Yeah.
Restyle Secrets on YouTube, and Restyle Secrets, 1 word, on Instagram.
1 word on Instagram.
Let's kick things off with Flip of the Week. What was your best sale of the week? It doesn't have to be, you can define that in any way. It could be your highest sale. It could be your highest profit. It could be something you've had for 5 years and you did a dance when it left. Yes. There are no boundaries. Let us know. Okay.
So I sold on Poshmark. Well, first of all, I was really dumbfounded when I found this. This is Spanx.
Ooh.
It's called the Drape Front Jacket, and it has faux leather sleeves.
Very nice.
I listed it about 2 weeks ago, and I sold it probably within, I sold it a couple days ago for $65.
Wow.
I paid $5.99.
That is a great flip, and a fast flip.
Yes.
Fast and good profit. We love that.
I hardly ever get both of those.
Right?
If it's fast, it's usually the cheap stuff.
It's true. It's really hard. I say all the time to get those like home runs that are, you pay little for, it's a huge profit, it sells fast, it goes out without a hitch. There aren't any scary things with shipping. You don't lose it in your inventory. That's always
they're unicorns. You get them now and then.
Absolutely. So my flip of the week was something that I've had for a really long time. And it is prom season. And I imagine that's why this sold. It was this K Unger. I'm going to come, where is the light the best? I have my ring light that's really competing here. It's a lovely lace dress fitted with like the little crisscross in the back that ties. I was in Scranton, Pennsylvania, home of The Office. That's where The Office.
Yeah, sure.
So I stopped at this Goodwill. I didn't see any of our friends there. And they were having this sale. I think everything with a certain color was $2. And I got that dress for $2. Mm-hmm. And I was getting ready to go to bed the other night, and I saw that this came. I get anxiety when things sell for full price because I can't be sure I'm going to find it. Isn't that terrible? I get nervous.
Wait a minute. Only if it's full price, you get this anxiety?
Because if it's an offer, I can check my inventory.
You run and check.
and make sure I have it. If it's a full price sale, I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen this or heard of this in a while. And I got that panicked feeling. And as it turned out,
I'll write this down. Go ahead.
this is for our therapy session when the Zoom chat is over. It sold for full price. However, I couldn't find it in my inventory very quickly. It was not in tote scan, but my detective came to work, Tina.
Tina found it.
She found it in 2 seconds. It was like right on top. It was in the dress section. It just wasn't tote scanned in. A lot of flaws in my system. But anyways, that was my flip of the week.
Yay.
$150. I paid $2. Full price, $149. So yeah, I don't think I've sold anything over $100 in a hot minute. So that was a good one.
Wow.
All right. So now we can do our flop of the week. Okay, show us your flop.
I have it right here. These are BCBG.
Okay.
Max Azria. Velour track pants.
Very Y2K.
The teeth on the zipper are rhinestones. They're pink.
They're beautiful. Where's the flop?
What could go wrong? Well, I wanted the jacket, and I looked in the whole store. First, I started with the same size. And I thought, well, maybe she's bigger on top. So then I looked in the bigger size. Maybe she's little on top. So I looked at the smaller size. I went to the poor 22-year-old guy behind the counter at Hope's outlet and said, do you remember this pink track jacket? And he said, I doubt it. Meaning, I doubt that I would remember anything.
Right. So the A for effort in asking him.
Here's the sad part. Because I thought I could get 25-ish for these, but I could get like 40 for the suit or more. But I forgot. And then I shopped some more and they were in my cart and I bought them. I'll sell them without that. That's okay. They were literally $2. But then I discovered, oh, there's one of the zipper pulls is missing. And then as I'm inspecting the rhinestones on the leg that spell out BCBG, what the heck is that?
Oh.
So there, my dreams of finding my first velour tracksuit before they go out of fashion were dashed.
Down the drain. Because
here's the rule about when something is going to fade away and not be popular anymore. When I start finding it.
You've said this before. So Heidi has a theory that...
Do you remember when Anthropology was like $40 for a top?
Yes.
5 years ago? Once I started finding it, $15.99.
Your free meeting will end in 10 minutes.
We've been robbed.
We'll start over.
Counting down. It's counting down. Over. I hate the counting down part. Anyway,
that's terrible.
So that's my flop. I didn't get my tracksuit. So be warned, I found half of one. So pretty soon velour tracksuits will be, nobody will want them.
Only the bottoms.
Only the bottoms.
Because that's what you found.
That's true. The jackets are so good.
I think you find great stuff. I think you are... Well, you were saying also before the chat that you do 35 to 38% of your business is menswear.
Yes. 38% is men's on Poshmark and 35% on eBay. And my ASP is $5 higher on men's.
I believe that. Did that happen by accident?
Men's?
Yes.
That it grew? Well, no. I mean, did I intentionally think, I'm going to grow my men's business? No.
Did you go in saying, I love sourcing men's clothes?
I've always sourced men's because my husband is an outdoors person. He doesn't hunt or fish. He's not that kind of outdoors person. He just likes to be outdoors.
Mm-hmm.
He used to be an Eagle Scout, right? He does skiing and snowshoeing and photography, and he loves winter and he loves being outdoors. Spring, summer, he loves boating and sailing. So,
sounds like fun, Heidi.
Men with their hobbies have to have the right clothes, and they really like the best stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I knew some of the brands. And so I think, I'll just pop through the men's and see if I see something for Kurt. And then I'd see stuff in other sizes. And I'd think, this is cool. This is smart wool. This is good stuff.
Yes.
And I've always sold men's. So
that's interesting.
The growth came about because I discovered ThredUp has great men's clothes that they'll sell to me. because they don't sell them on their website.
Yes, explain that too. That is another thing. So I love going off on tangents. We have 8 minutes left before we have to reboot. But
I can get this tangent done in that time.
Yes, go for it.
People get a clean out kit, a bag or a label, and they fill it with their clothes, but it's only supposed to be women's and kids. They don't sell men's stuff.
Right.
So if you don't check the box and pay the hefty fee to get your rejected items returned to you, ThredUp keeps them and does as they see fit. The website says they're donated, but sometimes they're sold to Heidi and other people like her. They're getting harder to get, though. I think
people are catching on.
Popular. Yes, because I have gotten 50, 25 3 times. I've gotten 25 pounds 3 times, 10 pounds once, and 100 pounds once.
Wow.
And my last video was a 25-pound box haul that I did. I went back and rehauled it. And in 30 days, I had sold half of it.
Wow. That's
which is
really impressive.
Faster sell through than I get with my other stuff. So yeah, I really like it. But ThredUp, I always get a bunch of new with tag stuff. In one 25-pound box, I had 17 items that were new with tags. That's more than
unbelievable.
Even if it's just Under Armour or Nike, if it's new, yeah, it sells.
Yes.
So if people don't ask to have their items returned to them and they are unaware that they don't accept men's, then, they'll go through the son's or the husband's or the boyfriend's closet and throw that stuff in too.
And would you say, I have a feeling, and it's just a feeling, that just the men's department everywhere is less saturated and less picked over. So on Poshmark, it's less saturated. At the thrift store, It's less picked over. Like you just have better selection with men's stuff if you know what you're looking for. Right. Maybe I just say that because I'm more of a women's shopper and most of the people in my circle are women who do what I do.
At the thrift store, the men's section is about a quarter of the store. The kids is about a quarter. And I'm talking clothing, and the women's is about half.
Yeah.
And so they're actually quick to go through.
That's true. And the one section of the men's department that I kind of avoid because I'm not much of a t-shirt person are the t-shirts.
I don't look at t-shirts.
And I feel like that's probably the one section that is picked over from teenagers, from like the t-shirt bros and like everybody. So I'm like, it's not really my thing. So if I see a great t-shirt, I'll grab it, but I don't spend time in the t-shirts.
No,
I don't miss it.
When I first started reselling, I would occasionally go through the t-shirts and I would probably find 1 out of 200 t-shirts I touched. And then I would get, most vintage t-shirts go for about $20.
Yeah. And I even am having a harder time.
100,
Not the ones that I find, at least.
Right, exactly.
I feel like there was a lot of hype with the band tees when Whatnot first was on the scene. Mm-hmm. And I could sell a regular band tee regardless of the band for like $25-$30 on Whatnot. And then I stocked up on a bunch of them, but I think that's died down significantly. If I see them for a really, like, I think I picked up a Pink Floyd one recently, like cute ones that I like that work in my closet.
And I've noticed all of the mall brands are doing reissues. Yeah, yes. They're doing reissues.
Old Navy is doing it. Urban Outfitters has some really nice ones, but they're expensive, but they're accessible through them. Free People sells them. So you're right.
The t-shirts that, that are collectible were, you bought it at the concert back in, 1979. Mm-hmm. And I don't find those, but
that would
I mostly deal in functional clothes for both men and women because they don't go out of style. Cashmere sweaters. This year's crew neck is just going to look like the one from 10 years ago and 10 years in the future.
Yes, like classic styles, good fabric.
Yep.
Reliable brands.
For both men and women, but
it's a good business model. I like it. And about how many items do you have in your inventory?
I've been chasing 600. Yeah. What am I chasing? 600 again? At one point I have 629 today on eBay and about half that on Poshmark.
Okay.
The cheapest stuff I don't put on Poshmark. because my cheap stuff, I can decide whether or not I want to promote it. And my fees are only, 11.2% on eBay now, because I'm top rated plus.
I see.
So if I don't have to promote it, I can sell $15 items over there, but if I put a $15 item on Poshmark,
They take a chunk of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's only a little left from Heidi. So
Um,
I have fewer items there.
what do you promote your listings at on eBay? What
The stuff I promote at trending, what they recommend, but
Really?
I max out at 10%.
Okay.
And most categories are under 10. You can see when you go to draft the listing what it is trending today, for that particular item. And they're usually anywhere between 5 and 9%, but sometimes they're higher, but I max out at 10.
And
So
do you sell most of your items via promoted listing?
Yeah, I think there's about 30 or 40 out of that 600 that are not promoted.
Interesting. Oh gosh, your wealth of information.
Well, if there's a lot of something for sale and sold, even if the sell-through rate is great, if there's a lot of something like Ralph Lauren linen men's shirt, there might be 2,000 for sale and 2,000 sold. That's great, but there's 2,000 for sale. And if you don't promote, what are the chances somebody will see yours?
That's really interesting.
And I'd rather pay $2 or $3 more and sell mine than hope they find it on the third page. Now Poshmark's promoting.
I know.
I was not invited.
I don't know that I was either.
I'm a little ticked off at them, but that's our relationship. I just won't take her calls for the next couple of days, and
then you'll feel different next week. Okay, isn't Heidi so much fun? Thank you, Heidi, if you're watching. I so appreciated you being on the Thriftcast with me. We will have to revisit our time together when I have my act together about doing a side-by-side chat. If anybody knows of any software besides Zoom that can record a conversation like that, please leave it in the comments. I will share it in a future Thriftcast. I'll be able to have more people on the Thriftcast if I can get more efficient with the software and the quirkiness of doing that. I love the conversation between two people, so I would love to have more of that in the future. In addition to the flip that I mentioned, which was the Kay Unger dress, it's been a couple weeks since we filmed that. I also sold, which I think has been pretty well documented on Instagram, I sold the Gucci bag that I got from the estate sale. It ended up selling for $500. I had it listed for $599, and I knew $500 was going to be my cutoff. I contemplated keeping that, and so I decided if I was going to let it go, it had to be for $500 or more. I purchased that Gucci bag for just $10, which blew my mind. It was a pretty fast flip. I had also received an offer for $300, and then this person who purchased it for $500 initially offered me $479. I countered at $549. She came back at $500, and I said, it's a deal. So that is pretty exciting. The total amount that I spent at the estate sale was $512 over the course of 2 visits. So I'm definitely already profiting off of that sale. And yeah, I still have a lot of things that still need to sell from that. So let's switch gears and do some Q&A. Okay, I recently pulled Instagram. I've done this before. It's such a great way for me to get a lot of questions right in front of me, but always feel free to leave comments and questions here on YouTube as well, and then I can maybe answer it in future Thriftcasts. First question is from Thrifting Casey Style on Instagram. Do you like going to the bins over thrift stores or vice versa? Great question. I love this question because it really depends on my mood. There are days where I'm really just craving the hunt and I want to go to the bins and I want to zone out and I want to dig and I have a lot of time. Maybe I don't have anything specific that I'm searching for. Oftentimes I go with my good friend Kim, so it's going to be a social day. I love my bins trips. However, the bins are a lot of work. And I'm turning 50 this year. I started going to the bins when I was 45, and I'm not joking. Like, these 5 years have made me tired, or I don't know if I just know now when I go to the bins, like what I'm in store for. When I first started going to the bins, it was just all fun and games. I took home tons of stuff. I was very forgiving with the flaws I would take home. I didn't worry about my death pile that was building really quickly. Now when I go, I look at everything now with a much more critical eye at the bins. And I think to myself, do I want to invite you into my home? Do I want to photograph you? Do we want to take the time to list you? Are you going to be worth the return? And the prices have also gone up at the bins. I believe when I first started going to the bins, it was like $1.29 a pound, $1.39 a pound. It's now $2 per pound for textiles and shoes and hard goods at my bins. I go to the ones in New Hampshire. Also, there's a rumor on the street that I've heard it from 2 people now that the bins in Boston are opening again. It's been 3 years. It's pre-pandemic, the last time I went to the Boston bin. So super excited. On the flip side of that, there are days where I just need to source. I want to go someplace close, which is usually Savers. It's the closest thrift store to me. I go to Savers. I know the lay of the land. I know what's in my inventory. I know what I need for sizes so I can focus on what I want to look for. And there are days where if somebody asked me to go to the bins, I would be like, oh, hell no. Like there are just certain days that I am so beyond exhausted and the thought of going to the bins just like does me in. So it really depends on my mood. I love a good bins trip. This is kind of like rummage sale, estate sale season. So I find myself going to those sales more frequently than I'm going to the bins. And then in between, I'm making my Goodwill runs, my Savers runs, and things like that. So it really depends on the day. And also it's harder for me to get to the bins because it is a time commitment. So the bins is not something that I can just drop into like I can Savers. If the bins were closer to me, I would suspect that I would be there a lot more frequently than I am. They're about 35, 40 minutes away from me, more like 40, 45 minutes. I really have to plan to go to the bins. It's not just something that I drive by on my way home. So that plays a part as well. Next question is from D_A Stewart. I love this question. Would you ever consider a thrift across America and meet up with Ryan and Jack? Oh my gosh, we have talked about this before, and I've thought so much about Thrift Across America. If you guys are new here, I have a series called Thrift Across New England. It is a playlist on my channel if you want to check it out. I highlight smaller shops and sometimes some of the bigger ones as well, but I try to go into mom and pop thrift stores across New England and give them a little shout out, a little feature. And I am a person who, when I go to a new area, I always want to know where are the thrift stores, like where can I go to thrift? There was a time, as soon as I would open Google, it would say thrift stores near me because I used to plug that into Google so frequently. And whenever I travel, I always want to know where the thrift stores are. So I decided a couple years ago to start a series here on my channel called Thrift Across New England. And anytime we do trips, I try to get to a thrift store. One that I did most recently was with my girlfriends. We went out to the Berkshires for the weekend and we went to Shelburne Falls, and it was so nice. So that was my last Thrift Across New England episode. So it's summertime. I usually do a little thrifting in Cape Cod over the summer, so stay tuned for that. But Thrift Across America would be so much fun. Ryan has been out here. He stayed with me a couple times. If you guys are unfamiliar with Jack and Ryan, they are one of my favorite couples, and they live out in the Midwest. Ryan has been out to Boston, and he stayed with me before. Their YouTube channel is Jack Valentine. They do a lot of like Bolo brands. They're so much fun and I love them both. Their bins are really underrated too, so I would love to go out and visit Jack and Ryan. Maybe I'll start a series. I mean, all I have to do is visit one place. I've done a couple episodes down in Florida too. My husband does work in Orlando quite a bit, so when we're down there, I always go to the bins in Orlando. So I have 2 Orlando bins trips, and I think I've also been to the Miami bins. I don't even know. I'm starting to lose track, but a Thrift Across America would be so much fun. I've also gone to the bins in Pennsylvania. I have a video on that, and I could actually just recycle all that information and make it Thrift Across America and then start adding some. That's food for thought. And my son lives in New Jersey. I still want to get to those bins, and I do some thrifting in New York City. So yeah, that would be a fun series. I feel like I would already have a fair amount of content for that. The next question is from my friend Nicole at Sterling Findings on Instagram. She asks, what app do you use to make Instagram Reels? That is a great question. And my answer is I don't use an app. I do it the old-fashioned way, I guess. I go onto Instagram, I press Reels. Occasionally, if I have a reel that has a lot of cuts, I will import it to iMovie and I will edit on iMovie. But I'll tell you, I need to find an app. Please give me some suggestions because I don't do enough on Instagram. I have like come to a screeching halt as far as growth goes on Instagram. I don't know. I don't do enough on Instagram, and it is literally on my goals every single month, and I just fall off the wagon every month. I want to start doing shorts here on YouTube and doing more reels. The only reels I've been doing lately, or at least 50% of them, are with brands who I have partnerships with. So I really need to do more. So if you know of an app, let me know. Next question. T. Dampier asks, how many items do you have in your current inventory? When do you decide to run a sale? No rhyme or reason to much of what I do. Currently in my inventory, I think I have close to 1,600 items. Every day I say I want less, and every day we are adding more. Okay, available listings. 1,604. Oh, yeah. I've officially gone over 1,600. Yeah, so this is when I know I need to have a sale. I actually sent out offers through Poshmark VA just this morning. I did 40% off anything that's been in my closet for 250 days or more, excluding items new with tag, and I had to profit at least $8. There were over 750 listings that fell into that category, which means over 750 of my items are more than 250 days old or have been listed for 250 days or more. I have a big birthday coming in July. I am planning to do a big sale, and I keep nudging and talking about liquidating everything and starting over. I don't know if I have the guts to do it, but I really want to do it. I think I would learn so much about myself and about my business if I just let go of everything. The stuff that I hold on to, like my American Girl collection and all of my inventory here. I feel like being a reseller, at least for me, feeds into my like collection mentality that I have sometimes. Like I have a hard time letting go of stuff, and I'm married to a minimalist. So I think it would be a great life experience for me to sell everything. And I'm sorry I keep saying it, but sometimes if I say things over and over, I'll actually do it. And I haven't gotten the guts to do this yet. One of my plans is to, obviously I'm turning 50, you know there's going to be a 50% off sale for my birthday. But do I just continue? Do I just keep everything at 50% off? Do I do a BOGO sale before and then start liquidating? Do I like protect some of the things that I don't want to let go of for 50%, like maybe 10 or 20 things, and let everything else go? I just need to secure a few things, I think, and then I can let go of everything else. Let me know if you can relate or if you are a total minimalist and think I'm crazy. Okay, next question. StampGirl45 asked, how did you come up with Lumpy's name? Off topic, sorry. No, that's okay. I've talked about it before actually here on the Thriftcast. I named Lumpy after my dad. My dad's name was not Lumpy. His name was Francis. We called him Frank or Fra. Fra is like friend or brother in Italian, so a ton of people called my dad Fra. He was known to all of his friends as Fra, but his real name was Francis. He had a little man cave in the basement where they used to play darts in the 70s, and his nickname was Lumpy, so they called it Lumpy's Lounge. So we had a cockapoo named Lucky. We had Lulu Marie, of course, who I also lost in February. So we had Lucky, we had Lulu, and so Lumpy kind of fit the LU thing, even though we didn't plan that, but you know, it kind of fell in. My dad passed away on March 15th. His funeral was on March 22nd, and we got Lumpy on March 23rd. So it all kind of just worked together, like saying goodbye to my dad and then bringing this little ball of energy and love into our life was a nice transition that we really needed. And also, Lulu Marie died on February 2nd. Lumpy was born on February 3rd. So there was a lot of little things that lined up for Mr. Lumpy. That's how he got his name, the little frushy. I'll bring him down and you can say hi to him in a little bit. Next question. Why aren't my bundles selling? Tips and tricks, ? And this is from Daisy PDX on Instagram. This is a good question. I actually do have a video dedicated to how I do bundles, but I wanted to highlight this question because I feel like I haven't been really good about bundles. And there was a time where I would consider myself like a bundling queen. I still send offers on bundles, but I don't have the same communication that I used to have with bundles that I would pride myself on back in the day. My Poshmark closet is set to an automatic 15% off bundles of 3 or more items. You can do that in your settings. Some people will do 10% off 2 items, 20% off 3, whatever you want to do. Mine is 15% off 3. So if I'm in a mode where I want to move things, I usually double that to 30%. The people who create a bundle of 3 or more items, they'll automatically be notified by Poshmark. Like if you purchase this bundle, you'll get an automatic 15% off discount. What I used to do all the time is go in and write a message, take the time to go to people's profile, and if their real name is in their profile, I always try to get that. Again, I've been bad about it lately, but I would try to figure out what the person's name was, address them by name. Thank you so much for visiting my closet. I love the pieces you found, or say something nice about what they got, how they coordinate, or just, something special about one of the pieces. Today, I'm offering 30% off all bundles. I'll go ahead and send you an offer. Please feel free to make any changes, ask me any questions. Have a great day. I'm not a real pressure person with bundles, and I generally just got the ball rolling with communication. I might check back. You could also offer more than the 30% off. That is typically what I do. If I'm doing a BOGO sale and I'm advertising on Instagram, but people on Poshmark may not know, and somebody puts together a bundle, I might go in there and say, I'm running a buy one, get one free. This would be the price for your bundle. Or if you have 3 items, if you'd like to choose 4, you can take part in the BOGO. Whatever it is, I think communication is really big for bundles. And I think sending somebody an offer that is enticing is also to your advantage as the seller. I think a lot of times people will like and bundle things just to see if they're going to get an offer. I do it all the time. I will never just buy something outright unless it's a really great deal. If you see something that pops up and it's a good price, just buy it. Like I'm into fountain pens, and a Mont Blanc popped up. I think it was for $60, and I just purchased it right away because sometimes the deals are just really good. But typically I'll just like an item and see if somebody sends me an offer. And depending on how much I like the item and how much I'm offered, I will decide whether or not I want to purchase it. The one thing I will do is if somebody likes a bunch of items, I will go ahead and put them into a bundle and just say, this is an opportunity for you to save on shipping. I noticed that you liked a bunch of items. I am also guilty about going on the about tab for people and just seeing if they're perpetual likers that never buy anything. And if that's the case and they've gone and they've liked 20 things, I'm not going to bundle that. Sometimes I'm more overwhelmed if somebody likes a bunch of things than if they just like 3 or 4 things. I'll put 3 or 4 things into a bundle or 2 things into a bundle all the time. If somebody goes in and they like 30 things, chances are they're not going to buy 30 things, and then I'm less likely to make the effort to put those things into a bundle. Sometimes if somebody likes a bunch of things, instead of me creating the bundle, I'll go in and just send them a message and say, I see that you've liked 10 items in my closet. I'm offering whatever amount off, 30%, 40%, 20% off all bundles. Feel free to create a bundle. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be giving 30% off this weekend. This is Memorial Day weekend. I'm probably going to be sending out a bunch of aggressive offers on bundles. And it also depends on what people are liking. I don't send off, 30, 40% offers off of Gucci bags and things like that. But there are things that I can let go. And sometimes what's cool about a bundle is somebody will do like a high-low thing. Like they'll put a high price item in that I'm feeling a little stingy about how much I want to discount. And then they'll put something that's been in my closet since 2018 that I would literally give away, but I might have it priced at $38 or something. So in my brain, I'll think, well, if I send them a whatever offer, in my brain, I will be getting this amount for the high-priced item that I don't want to let go, but I'll let go of that $38 item for $8. So I'll put the money towards the item that I don't want to discount that much. I do think we need to get back to being a little bit more creative about sending offers. I think I'm hearing from a lot of people, or sales can be impacted by live sales. I think getting creative and very personable with your customers can only help you. One of the things that separates us from a place like Nordstrom or Macy's or Target, for that matter, is us. We're the difference. We can offer personal touch, and I think that can make make a big difference in our sales. And I have really gotten away from what I used to as my business has grown. It's been harder for me to pay attention to some of the details I used to really pay attention to. And it might be time to revisit that. And that's one of the reasons that if I ever get to that place where I can be under 1,000 items in my inventory, I have less things to manage. I can kind of up my service a little bit more. So yeah, if you're in a position to reach out and talk to people and communicate without being pushy and really add some value to the relationship of the seller and the buyer, I think that can only help you. And the last question is from Lara Weaver Brongo. How did you come up with an appropriate sales goal for 1 week? This is a good question. I used to do closet consultations a couple years ago, and this was a very common question. My goal is $5,000 in sales every month. I do have an employee, and that costs me about $1,000 a month. My sales goals aren't quite as high as they would be if I didn't also get revenue from YouTube, and I also have income from sponsorships that I do. So everybody's monthly goals for reselling are different based on your own financial situation. I need to make enough money to justify having an employee. So I try to do $5,000 in sales combined between Poshmark and eBay. The first few months of this year, when I was going through everything with my dad, my sales were in the toilet. And now they're starting to bounce back a little bit. I think right now on Poshmark, I'm at like 3,300, and it is the 25th of the month, and I think I have like 1,400 on eBay, which is very rare for me. I've really upped my game over there, and I'm doing more listings more consistently. So I would figure out what you want on a monthly basis. If you want to make $1,000 in sales every month, then you break it down. Then you need $250 in sales every week. If your average selling price is $25, then you need to sell 10 items at $25 to hit that sales goal. If it's a profit goal and not just sales, like before fees and cost of goods are taken out, it has to be even more than that. So when I used to coach people, I would tell them to back into the number. Like, what is the amount of money that you want to deposit at the end of the month? If it's $1,000, then you need to back into it. What are your cost of goods? How many items are you listing? What is your average selling price? And all that stuff comes into play. But figure out what you want to deposit in the bank, and then I divide it by the number of weeks in the month, and then you can figure out what you need to make in sales every week to reach that goal. So it's different for everybody, but when I really want to focus on a number, that's how I do it. I kind of back into the number. And a lot comes into play for me. So for me, I have to look at my cost of goods, I have to look at platform fees, and I also have to look at what I'm paying my employee, because that all factors into what I actually take home at the end of the month when it comes to reselling. Okay, tip of the week. If you go to a thrift store that accepts returns or exchanges, for me, Savers does that. I don't take any of the tags off until the items are under my ring light. I can't tell you the number of times I have seen something at a thrift store, at the bins. I've looked it over. I would bet my life that there was not a stain on that item. And then I get it home and I put it up on the wall and I get the lights on it and the stains just scream at me. Has that ever happened to you? I have a thing when I purchase something at Savers. I'm in my basement right now, so I'm like referring to all the things in my photography studio here. I put things on the hanger with the tag till we get it under the lights. Don't take that tag off, because they accept exchanges up to 14 days, I believe, is what my Savers is. Not many thrift stores do accept returns. So my tip is keep your tags on all of your items until you get them under the light. Then once you have them under the light and you can confirm there are no holes or stains that you missed when you had terrible lighting at the thrift store, then you can take your tags off and start photographing. Sorry, I just kicked my camera. But yeah, that has saved me so much time and money by doing that. And yep, if I see it has a stain, it just goes right back on the rack until I can get back to the store. So that is my tip of the week. Next up, let's talk about what's new in my life. I am working on a new logo that my friends over on Instagram voted on. And funny enough, it is not what I wanted. I had in mind what I liked better for the logos. You guys overwhelmingly picked the one that I didn't think you would pick. I'll actually show them on the screen, but just in case I forget. These are them. So this one got 69%, and this is very similar to my current logo. And this is the one that I thought was so cool that the designer came up with on his own, and that only got 31%. Over 750 people voted for the bottom one, which is very similar to my current logo. It's just a refreshed look. And the way that I found this guy, which is also something that's new in our life that I can't really say, I mean, I can say stuff about it, but we don't really have the product yet. If you guys have been watching me for a while, you remember that during the pandemic, my son Anthony turned 21, and my husband had been really interested in like tiki culture and tiki drinks and all that stuff. So when Anthony turned 21, we were in serious lockdown. It was April of 2020, and we felt so bad for Anthony. So we decided to have a tiki party, and we went all out. Since then, my husband has like been collecting tiki mugs. He gave tiki baskets to his siblings. He found a wholesaler, and he's been creating his own recipes for years. And we refer to him affectionately here as Tiki J. So Tiki J has something in the works right now. He has a private label for apparel, but there is a story behind it, and I'm really excited. He's going to sponsor a video. I can't wait to be like, today's video is sponsored by Tiki J. I'm so excited. He's been working on something for quite a few months, and I'm really proud of him. We're going to talk about it soon. He's writing a Kickstarter for it. It's been really well covered in our family. It's going to be for a niche audience. I'm pretty pumped about it. I'm just happy for Jay, and I'm happy that it's kind of a family project. Anyway, the person who did his logo for Tiki J, he found him on Fiverr. And the person who did my original logo was from Fiverr as well. But he went to a guy who was like a minimalist designer, and I loved the Tiki J logo. So I messaged him and I said, you just did a logo for my husband and I really liked it. Can you update my logo? So those are the two he came up with. And I'm thinking about using them both because the circle one is really good to do on labels. There was a time where I did like a little sticker label that was Lori's Boston Found that I got through like Vistaprint, and I put them on all of my packages instead of the thank you stickers. But they were expensive. Now there's a part of me that just wants to do like a little business card maybe that has my information, my logo, a thank you, and then like a QR code that brings people to like my YouTube, my Instagram, my Poshmark, my eBay, all that stuff. So again, I'm working on it. Also, my Shopify website has been shut down for, I don't know, 6 months. It happened like sometime when my dad was sick, and it was basically tax information that I hadn't updated on Shopify. So they locked my account. I still pay for the domain, LORIBOSTONFOUND.com. I'm still like paying for everything, except my site's been down for months. Well, when Tiki J gets his stuff up and running, he's not going to have a website right away. He's going to go through my LLC. So we're just going to have a link on Lori's Boston Found that you can go purchase Tiki J stuff. I need to get that going. And so it's just one of those things that Shopify, you jump through 1,000 hoops to actually talk to a human, which is so frustrating for me. I'll give more details about it, but I'm so excited. So that is very new and very exciting. It should be ready in a couple weeks. So the Kickstarter's not ready, but the merch will be. I'll talk more about it later. Also, what's new? My kids are home. Lumpy's schedule has kind of gone out the window. He was like this little perfect little regimented dog, and now someone walks through the house and he gets so excited. So his naps are inconsistent now, but you know what, in reality he's getting older. He's going to take less naps. He's still sleeping in his crate from like 9:30 at night till 6:30 in the morning. So anything beyond that is gravy, because none of my other dogs slept in a crate overnight. They were all in bed with us. Eventually Lumpy will probably be sleeping with us, but I'm trying to be a good dog mom and like let him sleep in his crate because he's doing so well with it. I've been spending a lot of time with my mom. She's been in quite a few videos and she gets so much love, and it makes me so happy. She is like the original bargain hunter. We would vacation up at Old Orchard Beach, and our big event would be to go to the flea market. I would really look forward to it. We would go to the horse track with my dad at Scarborough Downs, and he'd bet on the horses. Then on the weekends, we would go to the flea market. It was before they were all dealers, where it was like true like people bringing their stuff. Now it's all dealers. I haven't been to Old Orchard Beach in God knows how long. My mother and I went to a townwide yard sale last Saturday. Then she had an appointment, her pre-op, because she's getting her knee replaced. She had her pre-op in Boston, so we went to the Goodwill at Jamaica Plain. So she was in that video. Or she'll be in that video. This airs before that video. It's been really fun. So thank you for all the sweet words about my mom. I always leave my life updates for the end so people can just click off at any time when they're bored of listening to me. But one of the things that I'm working on right now, Lumpy's up. I just got the canvas overhead light that is advertised all the time on Instagram. It has like all these different settings and it's meant for filming like bird's eye view. So when I do all my fountain pen content and talk about journaling and planning and all that stuff that I love to talk about on my other channel, Time with Tata, I do an overhead view and I struggle with the camera setup. I've bought multiple lights, multiple tripods, and I finally got the canvas one. Now I'm on the hunt for a secretary's desk or an old-fashioned antique desk that has a nice wood grain so that when the camera's overhead, I have a nice view of my planner and then like a wood top setting. Currently, I'm in my son Anthony's room and I'm using his desk, which is a glass top. So of course the light shining down causes a reflection and it's just a mess. And I have all my journals and my ink bottles and my pens. So I thought a secretary's desk would be nice. I saw one on Facebook Marketplace that I just put an offer in on. I'm trying to work on doing a totally different YouTube setup. Right now I'm shooting on a Sony Z50 or something, but I have another camera that I used prior to using this camera that I think I'm going to permanently set up upstairs. I planned on selling it and then never sold it. So anyway, I'm going to go get Lumpy and we're going to say goodbye. Okay, we are just in time. Hi, good morning. How is your nap, handsome? He needs to go to the groomers so bad. Yeah. He's always so sleepy when I have him on here. He has to go get his second rounds of vaccination and I have about 20 minutes to get there. So we are going to say goodbye, but I can't not have you in a video. I get in trouble, Lumpy, if you're not in the videos, okay? You say hi to everybody? Okay. Are you a good boy? Are you a good boy? Thank you so much for tuning in to the Thriftcast. This was a long one, and thank you to Heidi for coming on here with me. I'm so sorry I didn't get our full interview. I would love to have you back. It's always fun to chat with somebody else. Thank you guys for your contributions. Leave a comment below, like and subscribe if you want to see more from me. I love you guys. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Say bye. You're so handsome. I love you. He's gonna eat my face.